But wait, there's more. If I'm making one of these, especially a few days after I did the full disclosure, there's probably a very good reason, and there is a really fucking good reason. I will go over the more superficial Georgia wrestling news items. Um, then I will talk about the fucking very serious Georgia wrestling news item. You can probably tell I'm a little nervous about this, and it's because I know I did the proper background checking, and I know that I did my due diligence, but it's a big fucking story, and it's a fucking potentially let's just get into it. First, the minor wrestling stories. Myron's report on the wrestling movie shoot was really cool. You should go read that, and that's something to look forward to. There's been Georgia wrestlers sort of in movie news before, the peanut butter movie and that kind of thing, and that's really great. Now that I got my channel really rolling and putting out videos, I'll definitely cover more of that kind of stuff. Total Aggression Pro, their crowd was apparently fucking big time bullshit. So they're probably jumped out in front in the lead of the wrestling groups that are fucking biggest bullshitters going. That list that I'm going to put out in a month or two. Please, Total Aggression Pro, bitch, stop lying. All those motherfucking comps and all that kind of shit. God, why? Why do we continue to do this shit? I have no idea. And this is a different kind of news item. Orion Bishop is back wrestling. Now, that's been happening for a while, but I think it's really fucking cool. And I haven't mentioned it yet. I think a lot of that guy's work. I think he's really fucking great. I think this tag team that he's going to do with Clyde Braddock. Everybody knows I like Clyde Braddock a fucking lot. I like him so much that I fucking hate how he's been booked in fucking stranglehold. Let me just be blunt and honest. And so I called that out, and I'm glad he's going to team with Orion Bishop. I think that's a good fit. I think that's a tag team that's going to do good. I mean, who doesn't want to see that fucking tag team against, I don't know, Lethal Poison at some point? Oh, Steve. And they're being managed by Wicked Nemesis. And it's a team that would seem to be right down his alley to manage. One thing that I've sort of expressed privately to people, so I'll just say it here, and I'm sure Wicked Nemesis will hear about it, is out of those three, Orion Bishop, Clyde Braddock, Wicked Nemesis, the one that I think has the biggest chance to really surprise us is Wicked Nemesis. I hope that he finds an interesting way to manage that team and promote that team besides his usual promo. Everybody's got a set way that they do things, especially good and great managers. However, I would love to see Wicked Nemesis challenge himself by approaching this tag team and getting them booked and promoting them and talking them up in a different kind of way. I'm saying all that to say that I think this team of Ryan Bishop and Clyde Braddock could be big time shit. I'm talking tag team or stable of the year type of big shit. All right, let's get into this fucking crazy story. Disclaimers. Because I got to protect my ass. My kid says that all the time. Got to fucking protect yourself, Dad. Alleged. Hearsay, hearsay, hearsay. And they're like, I can open it up for the critics who like, oh, fucking Stephen Platinum thinks he knows shit, and he doesn't fucking know shit. Nobody listens to him, and he has no influence. Yeah, because it's not like I've ever revealed sexual predators before and gotten them unbooked. It's not like I've ever pointed shit out that leagues then had to respond to. Of course, that's never happened. Happens all the time. Something tells me it's about to happen again. Intrigued? Here we go. It's a tough one. The wrestler's name in question, and the one for whom the slings and arrows are no doubt going to fly. And let me preface this by saying, Why am I revealing the story in this way? I'm doing it because the story's already getting out. And the story's already been told to me now from a variety of different sources. And I can see from the sources that I trust and the information I was able to confirm, I can always already see the edges of that fraying, and now people sort of putting in conjecture and people putting in their own bullshit, and then now half truths and conjecture are being covered with flat out lies in order to amplify and make things look worse, and in some cases try to cover things up. So fuck that. Fuck that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out this story, protecting who I can in the best way that I can, but still telling the honest story from the people that I trust and the facts that have been confirmed. Does that mean there's no wiggle room? Of course there's wiggle room. Does that mean that perhaps there are details I'm missing? I'm sure there are. Does that mean that there is a chance, however small, that some or part of the story is bullshit? Yes, that is a possibility, though I will say it is an improbability. Are we ready? Like to hit, here go. So, J.C. Kelly, who is a wrestler in the Georgia area. He just worked a Southern Violence show. He's supposed to wrestle for Pro Wrestling Georgia, which is a group that's going to run in the Landmark Arena in the beginning of February. Who's he dating? He's in his 20s, I believe, and he's dating somebody, or did date somebody, who was under 18, around the 17-year-old mark. A daughter. Let me just dance around this by saying who it is without saying who it is. The daughter of two prominent wrestling figures that have been around the Georgia area for quite some time. And she herself is a wrestler who's been catching fire as of late. People have been using her, usually on shows with her mom and dad, there to look over her. But this is the pro fucking wrestling business. And let me get to the commentary part of this on the back end. Okay, so J.C. Kelly and this girl, let's call her a girl because that's what she is, are dating, right? What is J.C. Kelly in trouble for? If this was just a simple case of he's cheating on her, I'm not so sure that's a story. People send me stuff all the time about so and such, or cheating on their fiance, or cheating on their girlfriend, or cheating on their wife, or cheating on their whoever. And here's proof of it, and here's proof of them trying to get with somebody else. That kind of stuff I often don't put out publicly, though I might put it out on Patreon because that's the very definition of an unsubstantiated rumor and a deep dive into drama. And that more of that shit's coming out over there. But this one's different. Why? Because J.C. Kelly is being investigated for possible possession of child pornography. Why? And again, I want to just lay the facts out as I've been told from the people that I trust, because all kinds of crazy shit's coming around as far as that child pornography. As soon as you say that, boom, fire, right? Here's what it is. He and his then girlfriend, who was 17, exchanged videos over phone. Makes sense? Videos of an untoward nature. That would be the child pornography in question. Makes sense? Okay. So J.C. Kelly cheats on her, gets found out. So she's spurned and upset. Her parents want an investigation based on the videos that went back and forth. And so that's where we are. Why is this story getting out? Because there is somebody, a woman, who is contacting different promoters and promotions where J.C. Kelly is going to appear and is saying his name, J.C. Kelly, and saying that he's being investigated for child pornography. Wham! Big hit. Who's this woman? She wants to remain anonymous. She has only confided that it is her boyfriend who has sort of encouraged her to do this. So that's the story. Now let me lay stuff here at the end. If J.C. Kelly never cheated on his 17-year-old girlfriend, would all of this be coming out? Perhaps not. Is that relevant to what has happened? No, not necessarily, but it is a factor. And I like to throw all of those things out there. It's important to note that the woman who is contacting different promotions in an attempt to let them know about J.C. Kelly and presumably get him unbooked doesn't want to say the name of the victim. Anybody with a little bit of research can already figure out who it is. In fact, people have told me her name more than anything. I'm not going to reveal it here. I'm just not going to say it because I don't want to say it. Now we're going to get to the slight commentary portion, and then that's the end of this video. The wrestling business is a dirty, fucked up place. I understand I've been part of wrestling since 1993. 27 years. I never think of it like that. I've been actively involved in the Georgia wrestling scene, meaning this is where I like planted roots in 2001. No. Yeah. Yeah. Holy fuck. So that's, oh my God, 19 years, right? Um, and I get the instinct. I know a lot of wrestling people in Georgia and people who have kids, and they'll say stuff like, "My kid is going to make a great booker because he said this and then the other," or like, "Look, I'm wrestling my kid, and my kid really wants to get in the business," and stuff like that. And then people always joke like, "What, like, oh, Steve, I bet your kids are such great performers. It's like I love watching them in your videos and all that kind of stuff. I can't wait. I bet you can't wait for them to get involved in wrestling." Are you fucking kidding me? You think I would let my kids get involved in this shit? I would not. And I don't even want to think about it or discuss it while they're fucking kids. Um, I mean, beyond watching a show, but getting them involved in the fucking wrestling? Fuck no. Wrestling, again, it was bred in the carnivals as a way to steal people and con them out of their money. And as much as wrestling wants to pretend on one hand, no, we're just like movies and we're just like television, they say that as if the entertainment industry in general isn't a dirty, scummy fucking place. And like child actors don't end up getting fucked in the head and fucked out of their money and fucked every which way 9 times out of 10, if not more. Wrestling is scummy. These are people who, by and large, learned from people who were deceivers and con men, who learned from people who were deceivers and con men. Now, each generation is like a sort of a carbon copy of the one before it, meaning it's not, the fidelity isn't quite as strong. So there aren't shysters today on the level that there used to be shysters. Don't get me wrong, but it's still scummy. And I still go out of my way to fucking find shit out, dig it up. It's why I'm on a crusade to stop people from lying about their crowds, Total Aggression Pro, and others, right? It's because I want to break the mentality. The mentality that says lying, cheating, deceiving is okay. Have I ever lied? Yes. Let me just put that out there, because of course there's going to be people who are going to try fucking attack the messenger. That's what people do, right? Fine. Yeah. Sure, I've lied about shit before. Yeah, I've pulled off like wrestling level fucking cons that were amazing at the Brawl show and all this other kind of shit. And I've fucking worked crowds and I've worked the boys and yes. Child pornography? No. Um, the J.C. Kellys of the world. Am I saying I don't understand? I do understand. But the wrestling business is full of dudes in their 20s who are fucking horn dogs and act like kind of scumbags and don't see hard boundaries. Pro wrestling has never been about hard boundaries. Pro wrestling is about the fantasy and self gratification. It's why the groups that manage to get most of the people under their charge to somewhat work together are so successful. But even the most successful wrestling groups are still pretty frayed around the edges as far as a regular, normal business. It still doesn't operate that way. It still operates on fantasy and bullshit and deception and leverage. It's real life, only worse and amplified. That's pro wrestling. Is this an indictment on me saying, Micah and Tracy Taylor, how can you get your daughter involved in this shit? Maybe a little bit. Is this me victim blaming? Absolutely fucking not. Is this me taking up for JC Kelly because his spurned teenage girlfriend went on to like fucking get him? No, because the facts are all there. You're sending fucking nude videos or whatever and receiving them in return from your underage girlfriend. Fuck, dude. You're going to pay that piper and you're going to pay it pretty fucking hard. And wrestling groups now that I'm putting this out are going to have to decide, do you want to be associated with that? But again, as I've said many times before about this kind of shit, it's an indication of a bigger problem. And the bigger problem is a lack of good sense and protection. Talking to Jordan Oliver and Les Thatcher last night, I realized something as well that I realized even beyond my post tipping point video that I made. And that is, if there's one danger of the new generation of wrestlers and wrestling people, it's that they don't protect themselves at all times. Because their lifestyles are inherently less fucked up than the generations before them, and let me give them a kudos there. The guys in the WWE are more inclined to hit a hotel room and play some fucking video games than they are to get blindingly fucked up and do fucked up shit. One, the tolerance for doing fucked up shit is long gone, supposedly. And people condemn even for behavior that's just young people having fucking a good time without hurting anybody. Think of the Page shit, right? But the flip is, I've said this many times. I wrote about it once in a full disclosure column, but I'm going to put it out here, and then I'm going to let us go. There are 3 suns, S-U-N, the sun, in your life. First one is your parents. They are the center of your universe, and you get your values from them. You learn how to behave from them. The second sun are your peers, classmates if you're in school, people that you work with if you've got a job, people around the wrestling business. And then that third sun, that's your significant other. Take that for what it is. And when one becomes more important, the other becomes less. Wrestling. The number of people who lack a definitive, real father figure in their lives is enormous. There's just not that check and balance for most wrestling people. And so they look for it in other wrestling. They look for it in what should be a peer, they treat like a parent. But then the relationship is imperfect. Imagine now in the fucked up world of pro wrestling where people don't really have strong father figures and then their peers become their father figures, where now they're romantically involved. At an age where the son is still supposed to be their parents, now it's their significant other who they also work with. Do you see how fucked up and crazy this shit is? I wish the best for the teenage girl who's involved with J.C. Kelly. I wish the best, and I hope everybody comes out of this okay. And as a parent myself, I hope Micah and Tracy Taylor find a measure of peace through all of this incredibly difficult and crazy time. This is the fucking pro wrestling business. And I'm refusing to apologize for attempting to shine light on things, for getting the real story as much as I can ascertain and putting it out there before all the bullshit stories go out there. I'm still here. Your job, if you're listening to this, hear it and understand me. You have homework. How are you going to leave wrestling tonight and tomorrow in a better place from which you found it today?